And welcome to the live show. Once again, Thursday, 1 o'clock East Coast time. This is Mick Holly. I'm the growth guy. I can help you 10x your business revenues, profit, and cash flow by the numbers. So, very excited about today's show. I'm going to be talking about how you can become a lead whisperer. Yes. All right. So I've got a few slides for you, but I want to have a bit of a conversation with you. Um, so we'll get rid of that, and here I am. And let's look at the title, right? How do you breathe life into your dead leads graveyard? And in many of the past shows, I've really been talking about, how to generate leads. And a lot of people have said, well, yeah, I've got leads, but how do I convert them? How do I get the most profitability out of those leads? How do I grow those accounts? So today, what we're going to talk about is how do you maximize the opportunity within those leads that you have been given or that you have foraged for yourself. And I wanted to show this particular image because a lot of leads, they don't go anywhere. They go to some place out the back in the graveyard. They die, and these leads got labels. They've got tombstones, tire kickers. Not interested, rest in peace. Here lies missed opportunities. Now, is this your business? Is this what happens with your leads when they come into your business? And I've been talking to a lot of owners lately, and a few of them have said, which bowled me over, I have to say, Mick, I know you can help us generate a lot of new leads, but my salespeople can't handle leads. They're too busy, number one. And number two, they don't follow up. They're not interested in those leads. And I ask, well, why aren't they interested in those leads? Is it because they didn't generate the lead? They didn't feel that there was sweat equity in the lead, or they thought those leads weren't going anywhere? And I've had a number of people who say, well, the leads we get, they're not very good. They're not ready to buy. They're just tie kickers. They're a waste of time. No. Okay. Here's one of Mick's maxims. No lead is a waste of time. It is a lead, and leads need to be cultivated. All right. You've got a contact and you want to turn it into a contract. And the only difference between contact and contract is the letter R. And the R stands for relationship. So you've got to build a relationship to nurture that lead to fruition, so then you can close it. So no more talk about dead leaves, right? Dead leaves falling from the tree. All leads have some merit. They put their hand up. They've said they're interested in your business. So we should at least pay a little bit of attention to them. Here we go. So anyway, I have a bold promise for you on this. I think this is probably, out of all of the presentations that I give, all of the techniques that I could offer in my 40-year career in sales, the techniques I'm going to share with you today on this show require no new sales skills. And if you use them, you will singularly transform your sales success. That's the bold claim from this call. And this is proven. I've proven this. So I'm very confident. So let's start with the ugly truth, shall we? The ugly truth is that 63% of the leads, that's nearly 2/3 of the leads that you're talking to that come into your business, are not ready to buy for at least 3 months. So you can understand salespeople saying, "Oh, these people aren't ready. These leads are useless." No, they're not baked in the oven and ready like a cookie. You've actually got to put some heat. You've got to turn the oven on. You've got to put a recipe together. You've got to nurture these leads. They're not ready to buy, right? But don't toss them directly into the dead leads graveyard. Further, 20% of leads are not going to buy for at least 12 months. So if we take the 63% who are not going to buy for at least 3 months, plus the 20% who are not going to buy for at least 12 months, you've got 83% of leads who are not going to convert for 3 to 12 months. That says 3 to 6. It should be 3 to 12. 83%, nearly all of the leads that are coming in are not ready, saying, "Oh, I want to sign a contract. I want to sign an order. I need your floor. I need your HVAC. I need whatever it is. I need your landscaping services." They're shopping around. They're interested, but they're not necessarily ready to press the button. So now, what this begets, so I see two types of sales behavior, right? There are two types of behaviors as I observe salespeople when they look at these leads. They exhibit these types of responses, philosophies, behaviors, and activities. So I'm going to contrast the average salesperson with the lead whisperer. And in this video, if you're an average salesperson, you might relate to some of the things that the average salesperson does, because I know you're busy, right? You can become the lead whisperer and exhibit all of those attributes. You don't have to get any new sales skills, right? You can do this right now, today, in the next 5 minutes. The next lead that comes in, you can apply the lead whisperer techniques to be able to close and nurture that deal. So let me give you the next slide. Here we have two types of behaviors. So the average salesperson, will say something like, "These leads are useless. I don't know why we bother. Who are we paying to get these leads? Why do I get these useless leads?" Whereas the lead whisperer says anyone who shows a level of interest and has called us, or at least said, "I want to talk to somebody," is a potential buyer. The average salesperson says, "I've talked to these people. They're not ready to buy." Whereas the lead whisperer goes, "Aha, I know they're not ready to buy, right? I know that 83% probably aren't ready to buy. So I need to educate them to be ready to buy. I need to train them. I need to show them how to buy. I need to hold their hands so that they're ready to buy." And the average salesperson says, "Mick, they told me, and they're not going to buy for 3 months. So maybe I'll call them next quarter." Whereas the lead whisperer says, "I've got 3 months to demonstrate why me and my company are the right choice for that person." They see it as an opportunity, abundance, right? And so the average salesperson will say, "They're wasting my time. I've got to do all these bids. I've got to do these calls. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I'm not going to spend my time on it. It's a waste of time." Whereas the lead whisperer relishes being able to help, relishes being able to deliver service, relishes being able to differentiate herself from the pack. And so the average salesperson focuses on the 17% of people. My Mac is going to die in a second because I don't have power. Why is that? Excuse me, I'm unplugged. Woo! That was lucky. I managed to get my Mac plugged back in and we're all powered up again. So the average salesperson is only focusing on the 17% of people who are ready to buy now, along with all of the other people who only want to focus on the ones that are demonstrated some level of urgency. It's highly competitive, And, it's a bit of a slugfest. So and they send the rest to the graveyard. They dig the graveyard. Whereas the lead whisperer is taking all of those leads because everybody's interested in buying at some point, and he fills his pipeline with all of them. And so he nurtures and he waters, he nurtures those flowers so that they're going to blossom in the future. He takes a forward-looking view of being able to nurture those leads and develop them into great opportunities. It's a wholly different set of philosophies and behaviors. Now, there's nothing in there about the lead whisperer is a better salesperson than the average salesperson. You've all got the same attributes. You can all pick up the phone. You can all talk to people, right? I'm not saying that you need to be, the most brilliant closer in the world. If you just nurture these people until they're ready to buy, your sales are going to go out of the park. So it's perfectly capable. So my maxim, my belief, my diktat, my fiat, my observation, my law, my rule is mix maxim, which is follow-up is the most potent weapon in the lead whisperer's arsenal. His bloodhound is following the scent of the lead, relentless, just pursuit, and just keeps on and on and on, and is consistent and dependable and reliable and chases that lead. So this is why you can beat your competitors. Look, here are the statistics. It's astonishing. 48% of companies don't follow up at all. And you're thinking, Mick, that's a bit of a wild claim, isn't it? But let's think about the best company in the world. I mean, you take Apple, right? It's the number one most valuable company in the world. It's seen as being the epitome. They have these beautiful retail stores where you can go and stroke a MacBook and buy your Apple Watch and your phone and all your accessories. And you go into the Apple Mac store, you go into the Apple store, and you go and look at a couple of MacBooks, and you ask a couple of questions, and you leave the store. Does anybody call you? No, you were a lead. You walked into the store and said, I'm interested in Apple products. I'm actually interested in your most expensive products. And you let that person walk out the door, and they never, ever call you. Never call you. Now, Apple have got, quite a glitzy brand, and people like that thing. But think about that. You go into a furniture store, you see a table. You want it, you think, I wonder if that would fit in our lounge. I'll take a couple of measurements. The salesperson, the floor person comes over and says, hey, interesting table, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I've just got some measurements. I'm going to go home and see if it fits. Does that furniture salesperson call you and ask you whether it fitted? No, they don't follow up because they're lazy, right? And that's a lead. And you could call them up and say, hey, I'd really like it if you came back to the store. Did that fit? It did fit. Well, I've got some other feature pieces that go with that would really fit well in your environment. If you come in, I can show you all that, and we can put together a bundle and an offer together. Now we're drawing that person in. We're pulling them back into the store. We're going to sell them more things because we treated that lead. But most people don't do it. 65% of companies don't nurture the leads. Not only do they not follow up, but they just don't nurture it. They just wait for somebody to come back to them. So you need a follow-up discipline. So I'll talk to this, and then we can come back to the actual statistics. All right. So the art is in the follow-up, right? You've got to follow up with the prospect and, find out what their needs are. They're not going to buy straight away. We've already established that. Here are some more statistics for you. Only 2% of people will buy on the first follow-up call or the first call. 3% will buy on the second follow-up call. So that's 5% of the total universe will buy on the first or second call. And here's the killer stat. The average salesperson only follows up twice. So they're only competing for 5% of the business. They're losing out on 95% of the business. Here are some more stats for you. 80% of all business is closed on the 5th to the 12th follow-up, 5th to 12th. So if you're not following up 5 or more times, you're missing out on 80% of the work. And I know you're not doing it. People aren't doing it. Most people don't do it. And so let me show you I'll show you the actual stats so you can read them. Right, the lead whisperer. This is where they're acting. The lead whisperer is making sure that they're making 5 to 12 follow-up calls because they know you're not going to buy in the next 3 months. You might not buy for the next 12 months, but there's a good likelihood that you will buy at some point in the future. And so the lead whisperer is playing the long game. He or she's nurturing it. The average salesperson is missing out on 95% of the business, and they're in the competitive slugfest. And by the way, 48% of salespeople don't follow up at all. So they've got practically no chance. So what am I saying? What am I saying here? If you just followed up, you had 5 or 6 reasons to follow up with somebody, the chances of you closing up business go up astronomically. And those leads turn into beautiful flowers that bear endless fruit. So that's what you need to be focusing on. You need to be focusing on the follow-up. Now here's another maxim, mixed maxim. You can shop around on price, but you can't shop around attitude. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is people may call you and ask for a price, and you're reluctant to give them a price because they're going to shop around, they're going to compare us to somebody else, and we won't be the cheapest, so we're going to lose the business. No, people early on in their buying process are looking for information. They need information. Your job is to provide information. You're an information giver. You're an educational person. You're taking their understanding to a new level. And the way that you give them that information can differentiate you from all those also-rans down the street. Because when they call and say, I really would like some information, I say, I'm delighted. I'd love to give you some information on that. I've got several options that you might want to consider. What's your number so I can text you these options? Oh, here it is. And now you've got their text number. You're already ahead of the game. Now you've given them options. Whereas they'll call those other people and somebody will say, well, we don't give out prices, but this is, and they're reluctant to help. They don't give the information, and they create a wholly different experience. Now, when they talk to you, they get this happy, exuberant, professional person who follows up. And actually, when you sent that information, you called afterwards and say, hey, I know you've had a little bit of time to digest those 3 options that I sent you. Do you have any questions? You'll profoundly amaze them because nobody follows up, right? And you do that consistently, right, over that 3 to 12 month period, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times, and 48% of the people aren't doing anything, right? And your price is now 20% above some of the people they've shopped around, but they know, that Mick Holly guy, he follows up. If we have a problem, I think their company, and he's going to sort us out. I mean, they're not shopping on price, right? You've created a relationship, an attitude, an experience that cannot be copied. And it doesn't take much. All it takes is a little bit of follow-up, a little bit of enthusiasm, and a positive giving attitude, and you can differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack. So hopefully I've convinced you that your secret weapon is to follow up. If all you did was to follow up consistently and nurture that lead, right, you will stay ahead. Because when you're talking to those people those 4, 5, 6 times, right, you're probing for what's their deeper need, what's really behind, because they don't normally volunteer that to a stranger on the first couple of attempts. But once they start to get to know you, they'll say, well, the real reason for me wanting to buy this. And then you can find that need. You can find out the problem that they're truly trying to solve. And you can speak to that problem. And again, now your language, your understanding, your intimacy with their challenge, your ability to magnify the problem that they've got and convince them that your company is the one that can solve that problem, it just blows everybody else out of the water. So again, the lead whisperer is thinking about how do I get more information? How do I help this person? How do I build my relationship? How do I build that credibility over time? Whereas the average salesperson, well, they're wasting my time. I'll call them in a few weeks. You're not going to win that way. So I've convinced you that follow-up is critically important for your success, and you can all do it. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a fine tune, a little bit of a fine tune on follow-up, because now we're going to be talking about speed. We're going to talk about alacrity, which we're going to be talking about responsiveness, how you react, how you respond to a lead, how quickly you respond to a lead changes the dynamic. It changes how they see you. So slow and steady plodding, that's going to get you dead. Your leads are going to go into the graveyard. But speed, we got this tortoise on speed here who is really motoring. And really, you don't have to go much faster because the rest of the competition are either dead or at a walking pace, and you're running and you're speeding forward. And speed conveys certainty, right? People want to follow somebody who knows what they're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can act quickly. You're on a plane, right? It crashes and the smoke in the cabin, right? And the air attendant says, "Okay, follow me. Let's go to this door." They move quickly and they know what to do. It conveys certainty, authority. I'm going to follow them. They know what they're doing. Whereas somebody else is going, can I get back to you on that? I'm going to read the manual. Speed conveys certainty. Oh, if there was one fact that should convince you to move with speed, is 1/3 to 1/2 of all sales deals go to the first company that responds. The first company that responds. So you're already ahead if you follow up quickly. So here it is: 1/3 to 1/2 of sales go to the first company who responds. Now, only 37% of companies respond within 1 hour. Most people leave it several hours, several days, sometimes weeks. And your chances, MIT did this study, your chances of connecting with the decision maker, if you leave it 5 minutes after the initial lead inquiry, falls by 80%. So if you can get there within 5 minutes, you've got a bigger chance of connecting with the decision maker. And if you follow up in 60 seconds or less, your chances of converting that lead go up by 500%. 500%. Like, you don't have to do anything differently, right? You got leads coming in. All you got to do is respond to them quickly. And the quicker that you get to them, the more of them that you're going to get. And everybody goes, "Oh, Mick, no. Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand. We can't move that quickly. 60 seconds, that's ridiculous." Well, somebody should pick up the phone within 60 seconds. You should call a number, boom, it rings once or twice, and somebody should be on that phone. You're in the customer service business. That's how you sell things. And that speed then conveys, "Oh, this is a great organization to work with. They're very responsive. They answered me quickly." And, we're competing for attention. Everybody's going to be, 60 seconds later, I'm watching another video on TikTok. Amazon have sent me 3 commercials. My email box is full. My phone's going, and squirrel, right? And then you call me a day later. I don't know who you are. What was it? I don't even know whether I was looking for that. What was it I was looking for? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Boom. And you go, "Oh, those leads are no good," because you took a long time to answer to them. Whereas if you answer quickly in the moment, you can greatly greatly improve your odds. So again, follow up quickly. Speed conveys certainty. So I didn't want to speak for too long. I think these principles are incredibly powerful. Follow up is your Maxim. Follow up is your most potent weapon in your arsenal. You need a process, a to actually follow up 5 or more times. Now, I'm not saying 5 or more phone calls. It could be a phone call. It could be a text. It could be an email. It could be a handwritten letter. It could be a personal visit. It could be sending them a birthday card. It could be it could be doing a video, um, a self video talking about them and their needs. It might be something you took a picture of. Hey, I saw this and I thought of you. There's all kinds of ways to make those 5 to 12 connections and indicate that you are very, very interested in them. So if you have a lot of unconverted leads, or you think your leads are rubbish and you've got a graveyard full of leads, or you're an owner and wondering, hey, I'm spending all this money on marketing, I'm getting these leads, but they're not converting, you need a disciplined follow-up responsive system to do that. If you don't have a lead nurturing system, right, something automatically that's keeping these people warm. I told you, I think it was 45% of companies, don't have a lead nurturing system. It was 65% don't have a. That's right, 65% don't have a lead nurturing system. So you're relying on your people to remember when they're very, very busy. You need a system to do that. If your pipeline's too empty, or your revenue spikes and goes down and up and down, then you need to be able to take those leads and whisper them into greatness. And I've got an easy button for you. I can help you do that. I have a system that can nurture those leads. I've got an system that can help you respond quickly. It's artificial intelligence. It'll grow your top line. It'll grow your profitability. At any time, you want to call me, I'll be able to help you with that. And you can book a call with me at speaktomick.com and get access to my calendar, and we can have a chat. So if you want to talk about lead nurturing, if you want to turn your salespeople from average into lead whisperers, get on to speaktomick.com or call me 704-904-0994. And if you're watching this on the replay on my YouTube channel, any questions, comments, put them in below. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing this every week at 1 o'clock East Coast time. If you want me to talk to your sales team, give some presentations, get them fired up, happy to do that too. So until next week, I'll see you. Keep selling.